Okay, so as part of our discussion yesterday, we have discussed about initial thing, the data types and how to load with the data types. And probably today I will go with control statements, operators, and the Windows applications as well. Okay, so what is a data type that we discussed yesterday? Data type is the nature of the data that we are trying to hold it in our application. And data types we can divide into multiple groups. I will go to that part in a moment. What are the types of the data types we have? And discussing data types is very boring part. You can go through the document that I shared with you, but I will give you the little bit of introduction how the categories are divided. And however, in the beginning, if you remember, okay, so in the beginning, we have discussed like using .NET framework, we can develop console application and Windows applications as well. Here, as part of our discussion, I will continue with both. Sometimes I will show you the Windows application. Sometimes I will show you the uh, console application as well. In real-time architecture, mostly we have to work with the web applications. That we do not start it yet. To start with web applications, we have to complete the Windows and console actually. See, the applications we're discussing here is console applications, Windows applications, which will also covers ADO.NET, means a database operations. And the ADO.NET part also covers a database MS SQL server. Okay. And then finally, we go to the ASP.NET. So using ASP.NET, we can develop web applications. Okay, so this is the pattern of the type of application we can learn as part of our .NET training here. So the console applications, the black screen applications are easy to learn concepts actually, because we can see all the coding in single window. Those are helpful to learn the concept. But mostly in real-time architecture, it is very rare we use the console applications. But the concepts are same. Whatever we write the code in console application, we write same code in Windows, same code in ASP.NET also. But to understand the concept, to understand the code pattern, how the code is executing and all, to check them, console applications are highly flexible. Okay. So mostly we discuss the topics on console applications. The real-time applications we will discuss on Windows applications as well. Because if we keep working on console application, you will be getting bored about it. Okay. So we have to see the Windows applications also in simultaneous. Today, I will show you how to load the Windows applications, how it works. So till we complete the object-oriented concept, we will discuss console applications and Windows applications simultaneously. Sometimes I will open console application. Sometimes I will open Windows application. I request you to maintain the attention when we were using the console application and when we were using the Windows application. Okay. So we saw a small program yesterday. So it was the program we ran it yesterday. So we understand how to give the input and how to process the output. All those things we understand. Now let us see how to do the same application using Windows application. Remember, Windows application means you can see the UI, user interface, like your web application, where you key in your username or password, that kind of things we can see using Windows application. So to open a Windows application, so if you just try to recollect it, yesterday it was the program we have discussed it. Using this program, we can find out addition of given two numbers. I will run this program and I will try to show the same program using Windows application. Okay, so this is what we saw the program yesterday. Now let us try to figure it out how to do the same application using Windows application. So to start with Windows application, just open your Visual Studio, create a new project. Click on create new project. Here, just type Windows. You see Windows Forms app, C#.NET. You need to find it out, select it, click on next. Okay, so you can give it any name. Windows. You can change this path. Okay, click on next. Okay, remember when we said about the Windows application, it purely contains the UI UX, not black screen applications. So when you open a Windows application, Visual Studio will open a different interface. It's a bit different when you compare with the console application. Okay, so like this, it will load a window. This is called as the window. I will show you how to work with this window. But before that, here also we have a solution explorer. By clicking on it, you can see a solution explorer. And like I said, it will come with a default class. And in this class, it will have the main method and all. Okay. However, the role of the main method is very limited when you work with the Windows application. That means you don't need to bother about this, where it is and all. Okay, it's totally hidden. Means we directly don't need to know where the program starts and all unless we have the specific requirement. But here, most of the things that we need to work with this one is this one. See, form one would be there. Click on it. This is called as a window. Okay, this is called as a window. On this window, what I need is I need a interface like this. Okay, I need an interface like this. I need a label text. Okay, I need a label text. Here in console application, if you can recollect it, when I run the application, the console application, initially on the black screen, it was asking me to enter A value and B value. But in UI, how I need is enter A value like this, a label text. After the text, I want a text box like this. Okay, I want a text box like this. Text box means user input. You can key in some input. So compare it, which one is highly, really flexible. Okay, so this one, if you have some prior knowledge, if you have some skill, if you have some patience, you can understand it. And you have no clue about how to terminate the application. Suppose I have given the 12, then what happens? You are not aware of it. You need to know, you need to press enter and up. Means there is no visual representation here in console application. But coming to UI or the Windows application, what happens is there is a label text enter A value, and there is a text box similar to this. And also there will be another like this. How many values you want? Enter B value. Okay, enter B value. And I need to put another text box. Okay, I need to put another text box. And let me keep a button here. Here, let me keep a button. So on this button, what I need is I will say add. Okay, I will say add. Now, let me take another empty box here. Instead of box, we can say a label or the text box, whatever we want, we can name it. So I will run the application. Instead of seeing this, instead of seeing this ugly black screen console application, here you can see this kind of interface so that everyone with poor knowledge, they can understand here I need to enter some value. So they will enter some value 300 or 400, whatever desired value is there. And also will enter B value by clicking on add the result of A and B, addition of A and B, it has to display in this particular portion. So this is what we call it as the Windows application. UI, user interface, user experience is different when you compare with the console application. However, The same program we can achieve using Windows application or console application also. I will let you know at the end of this session when we were supposed to use the Windows application and when we were supposed to use the uh, console applications as well. See, really console applications are also helpful, but in which case nowadays developers prefer to work with the console application, and when they love to prefer with work with the Windows application, that part I would like to cover now. Okay, so now let us see how to design this part using Windows application. Okay, so this is the window. Yeah, this is the window. When I run the application, just click on this, run the application. What happens is this window will run as the output. See, this is the window, output window. Okay, I ran the program. After run the program, the window will be coming like this. Here, I would like to see this kind of UI design elements. I would like to see them here. Okay, so this is what we are going to design now. So how to do that part? See, in any UI representation, and remember, Windows application and web applications look similar. All whatever we discuss now as part of Windows application, most of them we don't discuss in web application. So you have to know the things. So when I wanted to display a graphical representation like this, you really don't need to struggle. Go to the view menu. In the view menu, there is one option called as toolbox. You can also use the shortcut Control Alt X. Click on it. So a toolbox will be opened like this. If you expand the left menus, you can see a lot of controls which we will use in our daily life. Okay. See, for example, there is a label. Okay, there is a label. Select the label, drag and drop to the form. Okay, drag and drop to the form. So like this, how many labels I need? I need 2 labels. For enter A value, 1 label. For enter B value, another label. So go to the toolbox, drag and drop another label. Okay, so you have 2 labels now. Now, here it is showing the text as label 1 and label 2. However, I would like to display the text as enter A value and enter B value. Okay, so how to do that? Right click on that label, right click on that table, go to the properties. Okay, go to the properties. Here you will see an option text. Along with the text here, you can see label. Okay, you can see label. So change the label text. It will allow to change enter a value. See, as soon as I exit from this window, okay, I have given the value. Now I will come to here, click on this window. That value will be automatically changing. The same thing, you need to do it for the next one also. Okay, to the label 2 also, I will make it as enter B value. Okay, so we have given, we have taken the text. Then what else we need? I need 2 text boxes, 1 and 2. Okay, one text box is to take the A value. Another text box is to take the B value. Guys, give me 2 minutes. Okay, so I need 2 text boxes. So I need to put these 2 text boxes on window, that window we are having here. Okay, so go to the toolbox. Here, just search for text box where it exists. Mostly it would be in the alphabetical order. Okay, you see a text box is there. Drag and drop to the form. You can drag and drop or you can double click also. Both the cases, the text boxes will come. Now keep them in order. See, when you try to drag this around the form, it will show the alignment. I hope you can see that blue line on top of it. So you can make proper alignment as well. Okay, so keep them in proper order. Okay, so after you drag the text boxes, every element Okay, every element that you try to drag to the form, it will have one ID actually. Okay, ID or name, we call it as name, I guess. See, name. Here it has come with a default name, text box 1. You can keep it as same, but always it is suggested to change the name also. Okay, so reason for changing the name, I will let you know in another couple of minutes. But for now, I'm changing it. The text box 1, I'm changing it as txt a var. Okay, text a var. And also try to see the way I'm giving them names. These are the standards. You see, as a fresher, if you go to the interview, they will ask you to write a small program to find out addition of two numbers, or they will give you one form, they will ask you to do it. They will purely observe how you are giving the name also. See here, txt, I have given the small letters, aval, I have given the capital letters. Instead of giving that, you can give any value actually. Suppose if you would like to keep aval, that also works. Or text aval, that also works. Or tx, t, val. So whatever you give in the alphabets or the numerics, that will work. But the difference is we have to follow some standards. We have to follow some standards. What is the standard is a developer with real-time experience, they will give the names like this. First letters, they will keep small. This is combination of two names actually. Text is one name, aval is two name. So txt is the small letters I have used. The second word, the first letter I have given it is the capital A and then small. Developers will write a program like this. This is called as a naming convention in the program. Means all the variables, all the text boxes would follow the same pattern. Then what are the benefits of writing this one is the code looks clean, looks easy to understand, and also will reduce the error rating. That is the standard in the project. See, if you go to a school, it would prefer all students in school having the unique uniform. Not they won't give different uniforms to each student, different colors to each student, because to maintain the uniform, unique nature. Similar to that, we have to follow same standard for giving names to different elements also. By giving this, what happens is it is easy to understand. When you write, when you follow these standards, when you give code or when you try to present something, they can estimate your skills, like they will consider as you're following the standards. Generally, freshers will ignore it. First capital, small letter, they will use different names. Even people with experience 2 to 3 years in the industry also, they don't follow this. But I would like to give you this information. But as I said, you can write anything. So text eval I have given. Okay, so I have given eval. Similar to that, I have to give the name for the second text box also. See, if I drag and drop 10 text boxes like this one by one, if I give 10 text boxes like this one by one, it will keep on adding text box 1, text box 2, text box 3 like this, but prefer to change the names to remember it easily. So this one, I would like to keep it as text B var. See, I'm maintaining the same standard. For the first one, I have given text A var, and to the second one, I have given text B var. Now come to the design part. Okay, come to the design part. Then I have to add a button. Okay, I have to add a button. Now go to the toolbox. Here you see the option for button. Drag and drop. Okay, drag and drop. Okay. See, the name of the button is given as button 1. You can name it button add. Okay, button add. And also text, you can see button 1, it says here add. And you need to understand the difference between, okay, you need to understand the difference between name and text. Here you can see when we are trying to work on it, mostly we will work on two features. One is the button name, sorry, not button, for any control. Name is the one feature. The another feature is the text. See, the difference between name and text is name is similar to your ID, your hall ticket number in your exam, or your roll number in your academics. Means in a form, there will be only one control with the one name. Suppose if I try to add one more text box, see, to this text box, I have given name as a/val. If I try to give the same name to second text box also, it will throw the error because it is similar to your ID number or the roll number unique feature. It cannot be duplicated. But your name, okay, your name means here I'm talking about the text that can be duplicated. Means if I take a name X in this batch, like Amit in this batch, there can be two Amits in one class, but they cannot be two persons with the same roll number or the hall ticket number. So here the text we are seeing is like your name. It can be duplicated, means more than one control, it can have the same name. But coming to name, see, don't confuse it. This is how .NET is designed. Okay, I'm trying to compare with your real-time example. I'm using name and ID, but here it is reverse actually. Okay, so name means just like your ID, which should not be duplicated. It won't allow to duplicate. Okay, so this is what we have. Now, I need another label or the text box to display the result. Whenever we display the result, mostly we use the labels only. Okay, labels only. So go to here and double click on it or drag and drop, a label will come. On this label, I would like to display the result. Okay, result means after addition, whatever result is there, I would like to display. Okay, so just run your application once. Okay, I'm trying to run this Windows application. So this is what I can see when I run the application. Here you can enter A value. Here you need to enter the B value. When I click on the button, it has to find out addition of A and B. And the result, it has to display in the third text box. The next text box, it has to display the result. Okay, so that code we have to put it. However, when I run the application initially, okay, when I run the application initially, I really don't want to see label 3. I don't want to see it. Because when I click on the ad, if I can see the result, that would be fine for me. So what you need is go to the label, right click on the label. Okay, right click on label, go to the properties. Here there is some text. See the label 3 and the label 3 in the text field, both are same. Just remove it. That's it. Whatever is there, I'm trying to remove it. If you come to here, you cannot see that part. Means it is empty. But the control exists. You see, the control exists, but the text is empty. Now, what I need is when I click on this button, okay, when I click on this button, it has to add these two numbers. It has to display the result. Means I have to write some code which should be executed when I click on this button. Okay, when I click on this button. To get it, there are two ways. Means when you click on a button, if you want it to happen to be addition of two numbers, there are two ways. The first way is simply double click on that button. Okay, simply double click on that button. It will show you a different window. See the difference. Form1.cs. In the brace, you can see design. The other window you can see form1.cs. Okay, form1.cs. When you work with a Windows application, okay, when you work with a Windows application, there are two parts to understand. The first part is the design part. That is what we are holding here. Okay. So when I click on this button, when I click on any one of these windows, any one of these elements, a action should be happen. Means here action is the addition of two numbers. Okay, addition of two numbers. That part contains the .cs code. Okay, that part contains the .cs code. So the graphical representation we have, when I click on, when there is actionable item on the graphical representation, there is a piece of code to be executed that is called as another window. So when you work with a Windows application, okay, when you work with a Windows application, there will be a form with design and a form will be attached with the .cs code as well. Okay, .cs code as well. Okay, so by double clicking on it, you can go to the coding part. Okay, so don't confuse it. First, you need to design the form. When I click on this button, I need a action to be performed. Double click on it. It will take you to the code. Now, try to understand different components of the code. You see the name here, button add underscore click. This is called as an event. See, what is event in programming languages is event is an actionable item, an action to be executed on user interaction. Maybe here on click, I wanted to execute something. Maybe sometimes you want double click. Maybe sometimes you focus out of it like this. There are different events, single click, double click, focus in, focus out like this. There are different events. So as I'm expecting this to be happen on click of this button, double click on it, it will take you to the code. Here we have to write the code to add to numbers. Okay, to add to numbers. Here we follow the same pattern like console application. Int a comma b, two variables I have declared. Let me take the C also. I have taken three variables. Now in a, I have to take the a value. See, if you take your console application, when I run the application, this was asking me to enter a value and b value, where I will enter my A and B in the console application. But here, the A value and B value, already I'm trying to input in the text boxes. Means I need to take the value from the text box, from this text box, whatever I will enter at runtime. I need to read that value. I need to save that value into A. So A equal to same int.parse we have to use. Okay, I hope I don't need to readdress what is int.parse because already we have discussed in console application. Okay, so I have taken the A value, button not button add. Okay, so that is what is the name of the text box we have given? Text A val dot text. So what this line will do is when you run the application, okay, when you run the application, whatever value you are trying to enter it here in this text box. Okay, so first one is the name of the text box. Name of the text box, text eval. So I'm giving name of the text box. Dot text. This is called as the property. Dot text, what it will do is it will try to grab the value in this text box, enter this line, text eval dot text. It will try to grab the value from text eval ID in your form, and that ID it will try to assign it to variable A. In similar fashion, you need to get the value from text box B value and you need to assign it to value B. Okay. So I will show you one small example before I go to here so that you will understand a lot of things. Message box dot show. Okay, show. Let it be find out addition of A and B also C equal to A plus B. Okay. C dot toasting you can do. Okay, I will show you what is message box. Maybe you may be wondering, if you are fresher, you may be wondering how these things are really works in real time. Okay, here still I'm not going to display that here in the third level, but I would like to display a pop-up. Okay, now run your application. Okay, so enter A value and enter B value. Click on add. See, you can see the result. This is the message box. Very easy, very convenient code. We don't really need to struggle. This is how the Windows application or the graphic applications are represented. Okay. Okay. So simply click on add. It will display this alert. So to display this alert, we have very simple code, that is message box.show. However, I would like to display that result in another text box label. Okay, so this is the third label we have. Go to its properties. What is the name of it? We have given. So the name of it is label 3. Just change it to result. Okay, just change it to result. Okay, now go to form 3. Okay, result dot text equal to means in the label, the result label, what is the text I wanted to display? Okay, so I would like to display the A value and B value and the result. So A dot toString plus, okay, here give some space and plus and B value B dot toString plus equal to C dot toString. Okay, so see the output, then I will explain the technical challenges. Okay, so the way I'm expecting to display the output is like this. Suppose if A value is equal to 10 and B value is equal to 20, I'm exporting output in this format. Okay, so I have constructed. First, I'm trying to display the A value, then plus I'm doing the concatenation, adding. Then I'm trying to display the B value. Then I will put equal and C dot string. I'm trying to convert it. So run your application. Okay, so enter A value, enter B value, click on result. You can see the value like this, 10 plus 20 equal to 30. So other data types means the float. For the float, you have to use the int dot float. Sorry, float dot pass. Okay, like this we have to use. If it is the decimal number, okay, if it is a decimal number, okay, then okay, pass. So based on the data type, we have to use decimal, int, float, character, like this we have to use. Anyway, we will cover that part in data types more when we discuss. Okay, so this is the way it will try to display the output. However, there is more interactive way that we can work with the Windows applications. That is, right click on this property. So when you run the application, you can see this, right? I wanted to show this in bigger font, not very small like this. And also I wanted to assign a different colors to all my inputs and outputs. To this button, okay, to this button, okay, I would like to set a background color. See here, you can see that feature somewhere. Go to the section where the background color exists. Okay, you see the background color. Okay, click on custom. You can click on any one of the color. So that color is applied to this. And select your label, whatever label you are holding. Okay, don't assign, up to you. You can play with this one. Or however you want, you can play with this one. Custom color. Try to assign some green color. See, fore color means font color. Back color means the background color. Okay, so now run your application. You see, the background color is added. Add the values. Okay, so this is in green color. However, you can increase the size also. Okay, if the control is not visible, just drag your mouse around the form. Okay, this will be highlighted like this. Go to the properties. Okay, here you see font. Click on that font. Okay, there are options for the font. Okay, you can change the font style, italic or something. You can change the font style and font set and the font, uh, you know, family, font family, all those things we can set it. Click on OK. Okay, now run your app. See what I did. I set the font family. I set font style. I set its size. I clicked on OK. Then run your application. Okay, so enter A value, enter B value, click on add. Okay, you can see that result. Okay, so this is how generally the Windows applications are designed. So, however, try to understand the different things here. What happens? You see the console applications. Okay, the main namespaces that is required for a console application is okay. So the main application that is required for console application is system. Under system, all console applications are defined. Suppose if you focus your mouse on console, it clearly says class system.console. In similar fashion, the Windows applications are designed under a namespace system.windows.forms. Okay, system.windows.forms. See, try to focus your mouse on eval. So it says a text box, and the text box is designed under windows.forms. Suppose if I comment this line using windows.forms, all my application will throw the errors. If I try to build it, see it says one failed, and so probably it cannot identify the controls on it. You see it says failed. If you would like to see the errors, go to the view menu. Here you can see the output window error list. Can you find output? Yeah. Okay, you see, there are a lot of errors. This one is showing error list. It cannot identify the form. It cannot identify anything. You need system.windows.forms in the beginning. Then only it can identify the entire your program. Okay. Here you need to observe few wonders. How .NET is flexible when compared with the other programming languages. Okay. Here, how the text box is coming on drag and drop. How the label is coming on drag and drop is when you do the drag, see, you don't need to bother about all these things really, but you just need to understand these things are existed here. What happens is, in your point of view, okay, in your point of view, you are doing drag and drop. So Microsoft making you comfortable to write the code. It doesn't mean we are not writing any code for it. Behind the scenes, Microsoft will generate a code to generate a view for you. Okay, so when you drag and drop, what happens is, go to this designer.cs, expand these things, click on form one. Okay, no, sorry, designer form one.designer.cs. See, when you drag and drop, okay, when you drag and drop, a code will be generated automatically in backend along with the required things. When you do the navigations there, the required code will be generated. See here, I will show you the additional one. If you look at here, you see label 1, label 2, A-val, B-val, add, label 3, result like this. See how many lines we have? 117 to 1117. And here also you see, whatever you are trying to set it here, enter A value. To do the changes to make the visibility, Microsoft will generate code for you. Enter A value, enter B value, it will generate. Now, after B value, there is no any other one. Now let me take another label. Just drag and drop to the form, label 4. See, the respective code will be generated. Okay, if you look at here, earlier we have code up to 128. The additional one, label 4 is generated. Now, right click on your label, go to the properties, change the label text as text label. Okay, text label. Okay, just do it. Now come to this part, designer1.cs, go to the upper section, label 1, 2, 3, see label 4, text label, you can see the text. Okay, now I'm changing the font color of it. As of now, see the drawing point and there is no information about any font color or what, means it is taking the default color. I will change to a color, some red, and font color I will change, and I will do the changes here as well. Click on OK. Now go to this code. All this code will be added. You see the font color red, okay, and bold format, drawing format, all these things will be added. Really, you don't need to worry how these things are generating. You just need to know something will happen behind the code. Microsoft will generate a lot of code for you, auto generate using its uh, intelligence techniques. Okay, so that is what you need to realize. I really don't want you to go and check what is generating here and there, but when you do the drag and drop, things will happen in background. So to conclude this, the first interview question, how Windows applications are designed. Windows applications are designed using system.windows.forms. And when you drag and drop the controls, behind the code will generate. And this is the code for it. And what is an event? Event is a clickable action. Okay, a clickable action. When you click on it, all these parts will be happen. However, when you do a Windows application, you have to design the applications in very interactive manner. Interactive means run your application. Okay, run your application. Say this, enter A value. I'm trying to enter some value. Enter B value. Try to key in some value. Click on add. You can see the result 10 plus 50 equals 60. That is fine. What I need is, as soon as I click on add, I don't want to see the value in this text box. 10, I don't want to see. 50, I don't want to see. Means it has to be clear. After once if I click on add, it has to be clear because I can see the values here. So how to do that? See, very easy. You just need to write the predefined code. We call them as the properties. Okay. So once if the calculation is performed, if this action is completed, I would like to clear the value in this text box. Okay, I would like to clear the value in this text box. For that, what you need to do is the name of the text box dot clear you have to use. Clear, what it will do is it will try to clear up the text box. And similar to that, text bval dot clear you have to use. The options will be cleared. Okay. Now run your application once. Enter value.
Sir,
Enter
you
value.
did not change the A value into B.
Sorry. Oh,
You did not change text A into B, sir.
okay. That's it, right? Okay. So enter A value, enter B value, click on it. The text will be clear. However, people will follow different techniques to do this. Instead of writing that is up to you actually. Instead of writing this, okay, you can write like this also. Dot text equal to, just make it empty. Okay, like this. You can use either of this. This is purely your coding technique. Okay, this will also do the functioning same. Okay, same thing will happen. So always remember, when you work with the Windows application, you have to design a application as much as user friendly. User friendly means, see, you have Amazon, you have Flipkart, you have some other websites like you know, Snapdeal or ShopMe, like this. I really don't do much shopping on other websites, but you may be aware like Paytm. There are many websites. The difference comes in terms of the usability, which looks easy for you is always Amazon or the Flipkart. Means when you design a application, you have to make it user friendly as much as possible. Once, if I found the addition of two numbers, if I wanted to find addition of another two numbers, probably you need to enter the values, another two numbers, click on it, the values will change. But every time, do I need to focus mouse here? Is there any way to auto focus? Means enter the values, find out, then cursor should be automatically located like this. In this, cursor should be focused automatically. Then what you can do is text aval dot focus. Okay, text aval dot focus. Now what happens is the cursor will go back. It will be automatically focused in text box A. Give the value, give the second value, click on add. See, the cursor will be automatically focused there so that you can key in other values. You can find out the addition. So this is the way Windows application works. We will discuss more about the Windows application. And like I said, we will discuss both in simultaneous. We have console applications and Windows applications, both we will discuss in simultaneous. So as per your need, you can drag and drop any one of the control to your Windows form actually. Means you see, you know the drop downs, right? Drop downs means go to the toolbox. Here you can see an option for combo box. Drag and drop to the combo box. Right click on combo box. Go to the properties. Here you can see the option items. Anyway, these I will discuss again along with our real-time applications. But just to know how Windows applications are working, India, China, USA, like this, you can enter multiple values. Now run your application. See, by clicking on it, you can see the drop-down options. Okay, which option you want, you can select it. And similar to that, there are many other tools as well. Go to here. You see the list box. Okay, so in the list box also similar. You can enter the items. Okay, like this. When you run the application, those are selectable. Okay, so drop down and the list box. The difference between drop down and list box is in list box, you can see the multiple items. Even in fact, it will allow you to select the multiple items as well. More than one item we can choose. Whereas in drop down, we can choose only one item. Like this, there are many interactive things when you work with the Windows application. Okay, Windows application. Um, you see, when you choose the Windows, I mean, MS Office kind of thing, on top of it, you can see the menu, right? Okay. So that kind of menu we can see here. Okay. Drop down menu. See, when I click on the project, I can see the some drop kind of things. So all these things you can do using a Windows application. See, a drop down will come. When you click on this, few other items will come. We will discuss all these parts just to give you some idea. What is the purpose of the Windows application? How these applications are helpful. Means comparatively with console application, Windows applications are more interactive. Then the question is, when I have to use the console application, when I have to use the Windows application. See, for a real-time application where user interaction is required, there we have to use the Windows application. Something to be happened where user is not required to interact means if you are applied for a job on Naukri portal, you see, every day at night 12 o'clock or at morning 9 o'clock, you will be getting automatic mails with the recommended jobs. Like this job is suitable for your skills. If you wanted to click here, apply here. So that happens periodically, automatically. Someone don't need to go there and need to run it. It will happen automatically. So if there is any actionable item automatically, generally as real time, my experience, we prefer to work on the console application. When user need to interact, means if you wanted to apply for a job, you need to log in, you need to go Naukri portal, you need to click on apply. Purely your interaction is required. That is where we prefer either Windows or the web applications. So this is the way we need to understand when I have to use the console application, when I have to use the Windows application. Like I said, to understand the concepts, to understand the coding pattern, how class is working, if is working, else is working, we will discuss on console application, and the real-time applications, we will discuss it on Windows. So here onwards, we will continue both Windows and web applications in simultaneous. Okay. So the next concept we have to discuss in detail is data types. Uh, so like we said, data types are the nature of the data, or the keywords we have to use to declare. Okay. See, the purpose of the data types is to use the memory in efficient manner. Okay, to use the memory in efficient manner means if you do not receive the material before, I would request you to download here if you don't get it on your email. Okay. So you can download it now from here. Okay, so in this material, we have detailed information about the data types. Okay, so just try to look at here. I will try to explain it. So the concept of the data types is how to use different data types. So mostly we are working with integer here, and like this, how it works. So we said, what is a variable? If you go back to the definition of the variable is the name of the memory location which can hold the constant value. Here, memory location. Okay, when we said A is the variable name, and it is the memory location. When you were talking about a memory location, so what is the amount of memory will be allocated? So in order to take a integer variable, we can declare a variable like this in different ways. First way is byte A is one way to declare the variable. The another way is short of yes. So you can take any name. I have taken yes because variable names, it cannot be duplicate. Then int I, then long x, y, z, and s byte of a, b, c. You can declare anything. I'm taking the random values. U short of a, b, c, and u int d, y, z, and u long ABC. Okay, see, these all are different ways to declare the integer variables. Okay, these are the different ways to declare the integer variable. Now, what is the difference? When we talk about a data type, what happens is mostly data types will be talking about the amount of memory will be allocated to the variable, and the values can be stored within that variable. See, I will give you one example. Suppose you wanted to declare a variable which stores your hall ticket numbers in a class. Suppose in a class, generally hall ticket numbers begins with 1, okay, begins with 1 and ends with 100 if number of students in a class is 100 or maybe 200, but generally there won't be beyond that number. Then I would like to take another example. What is the salary of the employee? So salary of the employee is typically bigger number a bigger number when compared with the hall ticket number. Like this, the number of range is bigger. Then let me take another example. Calculate the distance. Calculate the distance between Earth to Sun. Really very bigger number. Okay, which we cannot, I cannot print it here. I cannot say like this, really biggest number. So when you wanted to do the data processing with the computer, like I said yesterday, always we have to focus on, we have to use less memory as much as possible and less number of variables as much as possible and less number of lines as much as possible. Then it will improve the performance of the application. Suppose when I wanted to take a hall ticket number into my application, as I know the smallest and biggest number are between 1 to 100, the amount of memory required is really less to store the smaller number. Maybe when I'm thinking about salary of the employee, literally when compared with the hall ticket number is big. Suppose imagine to store a 100-digit number, 0 to 100, minimum of 1, maximum of 3-digit number to store, I may need 1 KB of data from my system. I have taken the example, but system never measure this in KB. System measures in bytes only. But for example, and 1000 to 10,000 to store this, maybe I need 5 KB of the information. Then really do I need to declare the same variable? Means to take the hall ticket number, should I declare a variable int hall ticket number? And for salary to take it, should I declare the salary? If you do like this, there is no error in this one. You can store the hall ticket number, you can store the salary. But you see, when I'm trying to store the hall ticket number, the amount of memory allocated for this one is 4 bytes of memory. Means always I'm using 1 KB only. Means some memory is always wasted. It's not being used, but I have declared the variable. So the concept of the data types is introduced to use the memory in efficient manner based on your requirement. Okay, based on your requirement. Now, what you can do is, when you wanted to take a number into your application, when you wanted to save a number into your application, the numbers are 2 types. Okay, the numbers are 2 types. Okay, 2 types. One is the integer numbers. Okay, integer numbers, and also decimal numbers. Integer numbers means it only contains the number part. Okay, it has a integer number part, whereas decimal number parts contains the points. Okay, mostly when we talk about the hall ticket number, rank, this kind of things, mostly we got the integer numbers. When we talk about the currency, means what is the price of this item, mostly it comes in decimals. Okay, mostly it comes in the decimals. So the integer data types is divided into 2 groups. Integer numeric data types is divided into 2 groups, integer numbers and the decimal group. So to store the integer number, we have these many data types. We have these many declarations we can do in C#.NET. We can do these many declarations. These all are the declarations we can use to store the integer numbers only. Then what is the difference between byte and short when both are taking the integer number? Okay, both are taking the integer number. Okay, so to store the smallest number, okay, to store the smallest number from 0 to 255. If you think like the input is between 0 to 255, you can declare it as byte of A is nothing but which takes the integer number, and amount of memory allocated for this one is 1 byte, and this byte is converted into bits. There is a lot of love story on this one. I don't want to go to that part. No one will ask you in interviews in general, unless the person wanted to reject your application. These are really doesn't matter. how to convert byte to bit, bit to byte. These all doesn't matter. If the person wanted to make you reject, then they will ask all these questions. However, if you wanted to know about it, I request you to do the self-study, because very boring part that I don't want to discuss. Even I don't remember also. Okay. So 1 byte of memory will be allocated. In this 1 byte of memory, byte are bits, okay, bits of memory, you can store a maximum of 0 to 255. Means if you really wanted to take a smallest number into your application, you have to declare it as int a. Suppose int a equal to 10, there is no issue in that one. But if I try to assign a larger number, if I try to assign a larger number, this will throw the error, because if I declare byte a, it can take only integer number up to 255. If I try to assign a bigger number, it will throw the error. That is only difference. The concept of the data types. In similar fashion, if I take short, I can store a number. I can store a number minus 32,768 to plus 32,768. This is the range of the number I can store into short. If you are aware of the number that is to be stored in short, it is between these range, you can declare it as the short. Okay, so you can store a number 30,000. There is no issue in this one. If I try to store a number 38,000, then it will throw the error, the range of the numbers. So similar to this, every declaration has its own range, the maximum number of range we can use. Suppose if you go for long, it can take a number 2 to the power of 64. Okay, so I really don't remember minimum and max digits for all this, and these are provided in your application, in your material. I request you to go through it. What is the minimum and maximum number? The another problem is these are OS dependent. Means maybe in Windows it will allow the maximum number, maybe in some other operating system, 32-bit operating system, 64-bit operating system. Sometimes the maximum number, it depends on the operating system and type of the bit 32 or 64-bit operating system that we are using also. So that's why there is no constant theory about the maximum and minimum numbers. However, I would like to avoid the discussion. Just go to this material. If you think the information is not sufficient, I request you to go out with the online information as well, because that varies. If I say something here that may work in my mission, that may not work in your mission again. So I don't want to go into deep discussion, but as per the Microsoft standards, okay, I have given the documentation according to Microsoft documentation in 2017 or 18. This material was designed during that time. I have given your inputs. And again, I would like to request you to cross-check with the current trends. Okay. So these are the different data types we have. All are used to take the integer numbers only. And similar to that, how to take the decimal numbers into the program. Okay, decimal number into the program. So to take the decimal numbers, we have 3 data types. Those are float, A is one way. Next, double is one way to take the decimal numbers. And decimal is another data type to take the floating number. See, if I said int A equal to some 10.5, it won't take. It will throw the error, because int will take only non-numeric digital numbers. Okay, after decimal point, it won't take. But if we would like to take the decimal numbers, I have to use these data types. Now, guys, give me 2 minutes. I will take a short break. Yeah, hi team. I'm back. Okay. So to take a decimal number, we have to use this kind of representation. Float A, double B, decimal C like this. And the difference is same. If the number is small, we have float we have to use. And if the little bigger, double we have to use. If really biggest number, then we have to use the decimal. And there is the number limitation also. 1, 2, 3, 4. If I try to give a large number like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and remember for the floating number, you have to terminate with F, or else it cannot take it as the float number. Okay. So I will try to display this value console.writeLine. What happens is it will not display the complete number actually. It will do round off, means I think it can display up to 6 digits. After 5, it will round off the remaining number into single digit. Means maybe instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it cannot store the biggest number. It will try to round off it to the nearest number. Let me run this. You see the number I'm trying to assign 1, 2, 3, fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have given. It said 4, 6. Means the maximum of 5 digits this is taking. It will try to round off the number. Even I give the biggest number, it will take a smaller number. Suppose if I think like I need the biggest number, then I have to use the double. The range of the value, I think for double F will not work. M or something. Okay. For double, I have to use D or something. Okay, I will try to display this value. See, double, it can display the complete value. It can display 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The complete value it can display. Even for a double also, if I keep more larger number, then again it will do the round off. How much number it has displayed? 7, 8, 9, 9, 3, 8, 7, 4. See, after this number, whatever number is there, it is trying to round it to the nearest number. Okay, so either you take the float, double, or decimal, all it depends on the length of the number you would like to store. See, if I take the decimal value, it's not going any round off. It is taking the mostly as much as biggest number, means up to the last digit, it is trying to process 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7, 3, 7, 6. Okay, it seems it has given the complete value. Okay, so all it depends on how wisely you are using. Okay, but it really doesn't matter what is the maximum number, what is the minimum number it is trying to take. But maybe in interviews they will be asked what is the difference between float, double, and decimal. Okay, the short answer is all will take the decimal numbers, but the difference is float takes the 4 bytes of memory, and double takes, sorry, float 2 bytes of memory, double 8 bytes of memory, decimal 16 bytes of memory. So there is difference in terms of the memory only. Okay, if we try to assign a bigger value, it will try to round off to the smallest value. Okay, so I request you go through the material. There is a lot of theory behind this to understand. I don't want to discuss all the theory, and the theory varies from one OS to one is one application to another application like this. And whatever I have discussed, that is the general concepts. Okay. So when you go for online, that may be a little bit different also. It depends on operating system and the version like 32 or 64. All these things will be taken into the consideration. Okay. Go through the material to know more about the data types. So along with these data types, we have some data types like Boolean type, character type like this. We will discuss them along with our applications. Whenever we need along with the applications, we can discuss it. Okay. So are you clear on data types? Okay. I don't think you will be clear at this moment, but I suggest you to go through the materials and try to do some online analysis as well on um, this part, this particular data types part. Okay. Right. So this is the traditional programming. How till now we have discussed how to declare a variable, how to take the data type, how to put it into the variable. So lot of theory sessions we have discussed, and whatever concepts that we are going to discuss further from here onwards, these concepts are completely similar in any programming language. If we try to learn any programming language, maybe Python, maybe C, or maybe SQL, or maybe Pascal, or maybe C++, C, Core Java, jQuery, any technology. The concepts we will discuss in next 2 sessions are the common part in any other programming languages also. So the next concept we have to discuss is control statement. Okay, control statement. So what is a control statement? How does it work? Okay. So before I go to the control statements, I would like to give you one example. Let me write console.writeLine. Okay. I would like to display some text. Easy Tech 1. I would like to display it. Similar to this, I would like to display 10 statements one after the other one. Okay, like this side. So how many lines of the code I have written it here from 11 to 17. So 7 to 8 lines of code, I put it into the order here. I will try to run the application. Okay, I can see all lines of the code. In order to see the difference, let me break it into, is it tech 2, is it tech 3, is it tech 4, 5, 6, 7, like this. Okay, run it. Okay, so like this, you can see 7. Generally, any programming language, it follows the sequential flow of execution. Sequential flow of execution means whatever order you are trying to key in, it will follow the same order to execute. 11 to 17, it will execute all the lines in the code. That is called as the sequential flow of execution. By default, programming languages follow sequential flow of execution. However, sometimes we have to break the sequential flow of execution. Breaking sequential flow of execution means execute line number 11, but for some reason, I don't want to execute line number 12 and 13. Then let me execute line number 14. And for some reason, I don't want to execute line number 15 and line number 17 like this. Means at this moment, I would like to execute line number 1, line number 14, so line number 11, 14, and 16. I don't want to execute 12 and 13. Means if I run the application, it should be able to display EasyTech 1, EasyTech 4, EasyTech 6. Some other time, I don't want to execute 11, but I would like to proceed with 12 and 13. And I want to skip 14, but I would like to execute 515. And then I would like to execute 17, but not 16. So vice versa. If 11, 14, 16 executes, it has to skip 12 and 13, and it has to skip 15, it has to skip 17. that is called as the breaking the sequential flow of execution. The default behavior, okay, the default behavior of the programming languages is it follows the sequential flow of execution. Okay. However, sometimes you have to break the sequential flow of execution. So when you said breaking the sequential flow of execution, there are two ways of it. Okay, breaking the sequential flow of execution, there are two ways of it. The first way is whatever we discuss now. Okay, so whatever part we discuss it now, this is one way. Execute some part of the program and skip few lines and go to the some other part of the program, and that is one way. However, there is another way to execute the sequential flow of execution. Okay, so what is the sequential flow of execution is, let it be lines in the same order, like line 1, I have 2, I have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like this, I have 8 lines of code in my program. So in sequential flow of execution, okay, in sequential flow of execution, how it works is, it will execute all 8 lines in the given order. However, like I said, I would like to break that sequential flow of execution. So what is that breaking sequential flow of execution is, let it be execute line number 1, let it be execute line number 3 and execute line number 3 or 4. Then after executing line number 5, execute 4, 5, 6. After executing 6, don't go to execute 7, but I want come back to the 4 and repeat execute 5 and go to the 6 and come back to the 4 and execute 5, 6, come back to the 4 and repeat this pattern maybe 3 times, sometimes maybe 4 times, maybe 6 times. I will give you example also, in which case it has to execute lines of code one after the other one. But this is one way of breaking the sequential flow of execution. Okay, one way of breaking the sequential flow of execution. And remember the general behavior. Okay, the general behavior of the programming languages is follows the sequential order. Whatever order you are trying to give it, it will follow the same order. However, I need to break the sequential flow. When I'm talking about breaking the sequential flow, there are two ways to break that flow. One is execute some part of the program, skip some other part of the program, means jump from one part of the program to another part of the program. The second one is repeating the same part of the program multiple times. Repeating the same part of the program multiple times again and again. Here 3, 4, 5 I have taken as the example. We're seeing some symbols here. Okay, however, okay, leave it. So there are two ways to do that, like jumping from one part of the program to other part of the program and executing same part. So the next concept we were discussing is control statements. Okay, the next part we were discussing is control statements. So control statements are two types. Then first thing is, what is the control statement? Control statement means by default, any programming language, it follows the sequential flow of execution. However, we need to break that sequential flow. Then we have to use one mechanism in our code. That mechanism is called as the control statement. So basically, control statements are helpful to break the sequential flow of execution. The control statements also called as decision-making statements. Decision-making means the general decision taken by compiler or the program is sequential flow, same order. However, we have to make the decision like which line to be executed, which line not to be executed. We have to make some control on it, so that we call them as the control statement. So control statements, there are two types in control statements, which are called as branching statements . Okay, also called jump statements. Okay, jump statements. Okay, so branching or jump statements are nothing but the pattern we discussed it here. Means execute 11, after 11 jump to 14, just skipping 12 and 13. After executing 14, jump to 16, just skip it. That is called as a branching statement or the jumping statement. Just jump from one part of the program to another part of the program. Okay, so the second type is looping statements. Okay, looping statement. So looping statements means same part of the program in loop many times. Same part of the program will be executed 3 4 5 3 4 5 will be executed multiple times. Okay, that is called as the looping statements. So basically the control statements are two types: branching statements and are the jump statements, and the other one is the looping statements. So these control statements, based on its behavior, again divided into subgroups. Okay, so those are called as if statements. Okay, these are the jump statements or the branching statements. Like this, we have few other switch statement and break, go to, continue. Like this, all these are called as the jumping statements or the branching statements. On other hand, the looping statements are, we have for loop, while loop, do while loop, and for each loop. Okay, so these are the next topics we are supposed to discuss. Remember, these are the pillars and backbone to every program. In real time, whatever program you touch it, you need to see a if statement there, or a switch statement, or a break, a go to, a continue, a loop. Always you will be finding one of these statements. Very, very important in terms of the interview, in terms of the practice, in project oriented also. If you don't understand these concepts, means there is no sense of learning .NET. Not only .NET, any programming language. Because these concepts will come in C, C++, .NET everywhere with the syntax different. In C, you will be writing code in some pattern. In .NET, you will be writing code in some other pattern, but the the backbone concept is same for all programming languages. Okay, so we will continue this concept in next class. I request you all try to do these applications, practice the applications using console and Windows. Yesterday, I have given one example, one program to do it. And the same program, I request you to try to do it using Windows application also. And let me know if we get any errors. In the next session, we will discuss if statements. See, if you don't understand next concept, if statements and looping statements, any of the future concepts, definitely you will not understand. Okay, don't miss the class and let me know if you don't understand. I will take more time to discuss these concepts. Once if these concepts are completed, Whoops concept, I will wrap it up. Okay, I can finish it very fast. But these things I will take a lot of time because these are the backbone to any programming language and very important in terms of the interview also. Okay. Anyone, do you have doubt in yesterday program that we discussed it? I mean, yesterday I told you to work on some examples, right? Do you have any doubt on that part, Precious? Okay. If you don't have any doubts, you can drop now. Like I said, next week we will continue with the if statements, loop statements, and jump statements. If we don't have doubts, you can drop. If you have any doubts, stay back. I will be available for next 10 minutes. I will clear your doubts. Anyone, do you have any doubt? Raise your hand. And do you install the Visual Studio in your machines? Am I audible? Someone can you speak out, please?
Yes, sir. Audible.
Yeah, fine. Okay. Anyone, can you raise your hand? Are you having any issues with practice? Do you have any doubts? See, if you don't have doubts, you can drop actually. Okay, great. Okay, Dinesh, Abraham, Saiteja, Shrikant, any one of you, do you have any doubt? Let me stop recording.